Yo, what's up? A bit of a change of plans, because this is not what I was planning to do today. But we're gonna do it anyway, because I have about 3 hours, so I figured that should be enough to do, lore. So that's why we're doing this today. Though the plan was different yesterday, but it has been changed. And what the fuck did I just do? Okay, sorry. Okay, I think I fix it. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna read some lore because we have or I have a lot of stuff backed up. We gotta finish the buy. I didn't even start Eat Lua.
On me.
So that's a thing. Nothing with Varka. Varka's weapon fully unread, and there are like 3 new books that I still haven't read, and it's like, bro, where do these things come from? But that's what we're gonna do today. But I want to do my dailies first. Oh, also, huge news for my Genshin account. Finally, after 2 years, and I'm not exaggerating, it's been 2 years that I've been trying to do this, but finally, I have Charlotte. Absolutely monumental day yesterday. I decided to do a few pulls on Skirk's banner just for her, and finally, she's here. The last 4-star that I needed finally came home. I don't know, do I need anything for her? Because I don't want to build her. I don't want her to be like shit. Probably need more of these, huh? Okay. We'll do only like 2 runs. To use like 2 condensed, and we'll be good. And then we can read lore. Yep. I have about 3-ish hours today, so hopefully I can read everything. Okay, I can fight this with Vorka. Yeah. Hello, Cody. Hello.
Quietly now. Gotcha. Game's up. Fun is over.
Decided by destiny. Let me scribe.
Up the ante.
Ow. These guys fucking hurt. God damn. Okay, we'll do it one more time. But I think I'm gonna give Varka some fucking chicken. No! Okay, I don't really care. The event is Jover. We don't need that. Give me the fucking chicken.
Quietly now. Gotcha.
Delve into destiny.
Alright, let's
Fate
do
is upon
this.
you.
No, I switched out of Varka by accident and now... Oh Jesus, bro. What the fuck?
Quietly now.
I'm stun locked.
Things are
Okay.
about to get dicey.
Swirl, Mark 2. Animal test 6308.
Thunder.
Why do these guys deal so much fucking damage, bro? I don't understand. Boop. Okay, let's get that condensed resin.
Add astro.
And Astra
Thank you for
South.
Add Astra.
Oh. Okay, let's go up here to heal Varka. Can I make it daytime, please? Thank you. Nice. Okay, I think we should probably do it in order, right? So we should probably finish off the buy stuff. Because for the buy, we did do her voice lines. We do all of these. Or we did all of these. But we didn't read any of this. And I would like to read this. We also have... Fuck, the problem with Itlua. I don't think we will do his voice lines. Because I did not play with Itlua at all yet. So I don't have them fucking unlocked. So, oh, he has a Linnea voice line. That's interesting. Yeah, like, we cannot listen to these. Like, I don't have this. So I think for him... Oh, we probably will just skip him. Most likely. Because I didn't think about the fact that I need friendship for everything. So, I mean, we will get these stories on the wiki. That's fine. We will do this. We will just not gonna do voice lines because I don't think the wiki has those yet. So yeah, and then we're gonna... My Varka is at like friendship 5, not 6. But what do we miss if we only have 6? Let's see. We have more about Varka and catching the wind. Oh, and this is like post quest thing. Damn. Okay, we'll do that at some random ass day then, whenever we get him to 6. That's fine. Okay. Okay. And we will need to do these two as well on the wiki. Okay, that's fine though. We can do that. That's completely fine. And we also have 3 fucking books, which I'm gonna leave for last in case we don't have enough time, because who knows. But yeah, let's where's the buy here? We're gonna start with the buy, and hopefully there will be some cool shit, because it's a buy and she has big lore and all. Also, just I have this beautiful sound for all of you, as per well, not usual, but I think that went through. Nice. My mic is pretty hit or miss with the whole picking up an opened can sound, but we'll see. Okay. Do I need to close my window? I think we'll be okay. Okay, let's read everything to buy. The legends of Liyue make mention of a mysterious white horse adeptus. I wonder who it is. Traces of her story are scattered throughout books and folk tales. Yet across these diverse sources, accounts of her appearance are never quite the same. Some say she became a steed as white as snow, and in the days of the Archon War aided Rex Lapis in attaining supremacy over the mortal realm. That seems to be true. Others whisper that her eyes, like ember touched with gold, hold the power to gaze through the desolate wastelands of time itself. I mean, if you're old, that's just kind of like a thing, right? If you're old, you can kind of see through time. Not really into the future, but like, in a way, right? Still, others claim she has always lived on the moon, listening to the wishes of mortals and keeping watch over the world of flickering lights below. So the whole living on the moon, that's like not true, right? Like, she was like kind of sealed away in the moon's shadow or wherever the fuck, but she wasn't physically on the moon, right? Like, we're not talking about, oh, she was up there where we went with Bina and like that. I don't think that's true, right? I don't think that's like a thing. I'm pretty sure that's like not true, but who knows, honestly. There's nothing up there. Like, how would you even... Whatever. Yet, amidst all these different accounts, none could truly capture her visage, nor paint a likeness of her form. Whether amidst gentle tea-time chatter, or in debates pouring out over ink-filled scrolls, each view was a glimpse through a keyhole, catching naught but fragments, never the full picture. In any case, she was as a shard of blessed light, a wild goose upon the snow, whose footprints vanish with the morning. Still, her yesteryears linger in the mortal dust, and her tale awaits the day it is unearthed by those who would seek it. Well, it so happens that she's here now, so you don't need to unearth anything, but nobody knows that she's the Adeptus. I always wonder, why the fuck do the Adepti, like, keep hidden so much? Like, why won't Shan Yun just show up and be like, yeah, I'm the bird, but, like, I don't really care, so don't call me bird. And, like, bro, come on, man. I think that'd be cool. Jesus, okay, there's a whole ass novel in here. Okay, story 1. Few realize that the legends told of the White Horse Adeptus across Liyue were born from her demise. She was an envoy from the heavens who descended millennia ago to guide the journey of mortals. She watched over the ancient kingdom of Long Gone, a realm of sand crystals and gemstones. It was she who taught the people of the kingdom to till and to weave, and as a result they prospered with bountiful harvests. Their granaries close to... I don't know that word, but I assume it has something to do with plants. And so the people of that ancient kingdom came to worship her as the god of soil and grain. Under her wise counsel, Long Gone prospered, a resplendent pearl in a unified civilization. Alas, nothing lasts forever, and an unforeseen catastrophe descended from beyond the world. A devastating war erupted above the skies. The shockwaves of that catastrophe, laden with dark malice, crashed over Long Gone. What followed was the resolute will of the heavens to purge the darkness. Sacred will coalesced as through divine punishment to assail the ancient kingdom and scour its tainted land from the world. To secure a glimmer of hope for the people she watched over, Zibai defied the will of the heavens. Thus, with a grievous strike, her spirit was sundered into three, never to heed the desires of the mortal world again. Yet, whether stirred by pity or to punish an act of betrayal, a shadow watching from the heavens above extended a hand to Zibai. From that moment on, Zibai's three severed spirits have been frozen in that fleeting instant, a fraction of a second before their dissipation, and her essence wanders eternally in a dream where both life and death are beyond reach. That's kinda hype. I mean, we knew all of this. This is nothing new, but it is hype either way. You know what? It's kind of fucked up. I mean, Heavenly Principles is just fucked up in general. But it's like, oh, there was a war, and Langan accidentally got corrupted by the Abyss, so we're just gonna nuke them. Like, bro, they did nothing wrong. You don't need to kill the people. Like, sure, destroy the land, whatever, but like, you could evacuate the people. Like, that, come on, man. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. Okay, story 2, even longer. Jesus, man, we're gonna be here for a while, huh? In a time long past, when Zibai descended upon the mortal world as an envoy of the moons, she befriended a being most unusual. Though he bore the semblance of a mortal man, one with a striking visage, he could ride the clouds and mist, move mountains and fill seas, shatter rocks and grind jade to dust. Is this about Zhongli? I would assume it's about Zhongli. Yet despite possessing powers that could rival the divine, he was not of the angelic race. Much to Zibai's amazement, one day they agreed to meet high in the mountains to duel in the Adeptus arts. Yet when the hour arrived, her opponent was nowhere to be seen. There was naught but a distant rumble on the horizon. Zibai followed the sound and discovered 3 identical figures aloft in the clouds, engaged in a fierce confrontation. Amidst the clashing of the blades, she could hear faintly a battle cry. The Lord of Geo, Heaven's Star. Before long, the fighting ended, and the 3 figures merged into one. What? Aligning before her, it was none other than her astonishing friend. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, wait, let me read a bit ahead. This is really weird. This matter piqued Zibai's curiosity, and her friend did not withhold his secrets, imparting them most generously, and so she came to learn the ancient art of trifactor excision, or how to excise the 3 deadly selves. Wait, Zhongli taught her about that thing? Wait, why was Zhongli fighting himself and then merged? What the fuck is... What is this guy doing, bro? What the fuck? What? Why was he fighting himself? He split himself and then fought himself and then merged back like nothing fucking happened. What the fuck is... Bro, the day we learn who the fuck Zhongli is the day we might learn the biggest mystery so far. Like, genuinely. What the fuck is going on? These so-called deadly selves are the impure thoughts and wicked desires that pollute the practitioner's mind. To cast them aside is to glimpse the unmarred self, pure and clean. Do you think Zhongli is just 1/3 of himself right now? Do you think there are other Zhonglis out there? He just didn't tell us ever? I mean, if he can just do that, who says that he hasn't done that? You know? This is weird as fuck. Okay. But Zibai, as an envoy of heaven and the 3 moons, harbored no such wayward thoughts. No matter how hard she tried, she could not sever her 3 deadly selves. Her friend was unperturbed, simply remarking that the will of heaven shifts and does not stay, while white clouds drift and turn to hounds of grey. And with that he turned and left. So he said that the heavenly principles can change his mind and then just dipped? Zhongli, why are you so cryptic about everything you say to everybody, man? At that time, she did not yet know how, on that long journey of guiding humanity that lay ahead of her, human emotions would surreptitiously take root in her heart, nor how in the future more distant still, when her own eyes beheld the divine punishment that would descend upon the nation she cherished, resentment, fear, and sadness would gnaw at her soul like maggots feeding on rotting scraps of flesh. In that moment, she would surely sever her 3 deadly selves, an act through which she would abandon her former self, lie hidden among the mortals, and keep kindled a final chance of vengeance against the heavens. And as her friend had said, the will of heaven shifts and does not stay. While white clouds drift and turn to hounds of grey. It was at that very moment that the shadow, which had long been watching her, would cast upon her a cage wrought of pity and damnation. Every time I read something about Zhongli, motherfucker's getting more suspicious. Like, that's been happening for the past fucking 6 years and nothing has changed. How come they wrote a character that just gets more and more sus and more confusing as the years go by? It makes no sense. Bro. What the fuck? We need more Zhongli lore. What is my Zhongli lore, dude? What the fuck? Venti and Zhongli, those are the 2, man. Those are the 2 guys. 357. Yeah, prime numbers, right? She likes counting in prime numbers. In the void moon, where time stands still, all things appear to have ceased their flow. 53, 59. We skipped ahead a few, but okay. But time does not truly stop. It merely slows to the point of imperceptibility. My god. A single day in the mortal world feels as though a century is passing here. 150... Okay, I'm not gonna read the numbers. I'm gonna skip over those. Indeed, time must slowly pass. How else could one explain the erasure of the memories once engraved in my mind? What is the bigger prime number she knows? Ziju, long gone. Their voices, their faces. What do these things mean? It's as if I can't bear to forget them, no matter what. But what do these things mean? What do these things mean? In that brightness over there, the light from a lantern, it feels familiar. It's as though someone once told me it's the direction of home. There will come a day when I can return to my homeland. This is something I must not forget. What is home? So lonely, these numbers. Besides one, they have nothing but themselves. Yes, I am counting myself. Even if I forget my name, I won't forget that I exist. How would you even forget? Okay. I won't forget that. What am I counting? And she starts over. Oh god, what the hell? So she went to 16,127. Does that mean that's the highest she can go? Or does she know more prime numbers? There is a lot of them. Oh, this is kinda sad. Okay. The music in the back did not fit that story at all. Story 4. The White Horse Adeptus, who frequently appears in Neo's legends, is Zichao, the third deadly self severed by Zebai. So it seems like these three will be the three selves, maybe. She was the white horse that the elder of Qingce village said would assist the campaigns of the Lord of Geo. She was the daughter of time, known to the clans of Chenyu Vale. She was the gold-eyed Celadon mare, referenced in the sanctification of Tao Do. She was even the white horse adeptus who leapt across the chasm of 500 years, according to the genealogy of the Lu clan. Bro, okay. In the days of the Archon War, she was freed by the Geo Archon from a painting of Zanju the Moondevar. She was in the painting? The fuck? Okay. And entered into a contract to aid him in his battles. Yet the traces of time upon her still exerted an inexplicable influence on the ancient Geo Archon. Thus, after the Archon War, Zichao, aware that she carried a threat upon her person, retreated into the forested mountains, never to reveal herself again in the mortal realm. Why would her having traces of time be an issue for Zhongli in any way? Why? What is Zhongli doing that it's a problem? How is that a problem? What? That's weird. Okay. However, she was carefree and unrestrained by nature, and she took much joy in displaying her powers. Since mortals' lifespan scarcely stretch 100 years, little did the traces of time leave their marks. And so, she would sometimes reveal herself to mortals beset by woe. While helping them in their plight, she would quietly pass on stories from before the sky collapsed and the earth sank into itself. What? But if the tales that humans recorded strayed from her intentions, she would likely give them no more than a glance before tossing them aside. After all, she was akin to a wild horse galloping freely across the empty wilds, while nothing to restrain her unfettered bounds. What do you mean what did she say? The earth sank into itself. What does that... Okay. Though birthed from Zebai's demise, she deemed it not her fate to don her okay, bro, nor suffer the spurs of anyone else. Ever is she ready to... Bro, why is it written like this? I can't read this. Ever is she ready to spring with grace and mirth into the ends of time. Then with a bang transform into a shimmering cloud of golden dust. What in the fuck is mirth? Okay. Okay. I'm not even gonna... this one was written in the most confusing way for my little brain. I don't understand anything. The only thing I gathered is Zhongli doesn't like time. Is it... okay, does this imply that like Zebai being near someone like shortens their lives? No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would her having traces of time be an issue for anybody? I don't understand. Especially for Zhongli. He can live for thousands of years. Like, I don't understand how's that... What is the problem? I don't know. Okay, story 5. Much like the unforeseen catastrophe that befell the land she loved, the turning point that altered Zebai's fate once more arrived from beyond the heavens. Thanks to the efforts of the golden-haired traveler and her companions, the true moon returned to the skies of Tevat. Okay, so this is literally just the story of probably Lantern, right? I assume it will be. Where was it? Oh, while the false moon that had imprisoned Zebai's essence began to crumble. With the aid of another old friend, the 3 fragments of Zebai's soul, tempered, slumbering, and carefree, greeted the hour of their return to the realm of mortals. Was all this foreseen by the shadow that had kept watch over Zebai, and had it now become the true reality beheld by the first angel? Oh, whatever the truth, the guiding grace of ancient kingdom had finally returned to her homeland, led by the summons of countless wishes. Though the land she returned to now bears no resemblance to its former days, the people worship a new god. The rites associated with lighting lanterns are completely transformed, and even the tales that she birthed have become unrecognizable. Yet Zebai understands that the mortals she once protected did not allow their glorious civilization to perish. Instead, they took root in the soil of their homeland and flourished, carrying their traditions through the ages. Their visage may have shifted with the passing generations, yet still they endure to this day. As her old friend once said, had Langan's magnificent masonry not become part of the foundations upon which Liyue Harbor now stands, from whence would it gain its reputation as peaks adorning the clouded moon? You know why I fucking hate Liyue characters? Well, not the characters themselves, but like every fucking readable thing from related to Liyue. It's written in such a fucking ancient way that I cannot understand. Nobody speaks like this. Nobody fucking speaks like this. I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. And now, starved of the discontent, even the once insatiable fire of wrath had dimmed beyond sight. After all, her efforts were not in vain. She has returned to her homeland once more. This, it would seem, is enough. Enough indeed to offset the bitterness and hardship she has endured. Bro, I'm so fucking confused about what I'm reading, but all I know is Zhongli is even sassier than he was. Again. Everything else seems kind of like, yeah, we know this, right? A lot of these stories are usually like, yeah, we know about that, they told us before. Which is probably good. This is just kind of more detailed telling of whatever the fuck we already know, but you know, it's usually nothing new. But then you have the weird Zhongli shit that was somewhere here, and it's like, bro, Okay, boundless land of mountains and rivers. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. Everything that makes up today's Liyue feels both familiar and fresh to Zibai. Hence, while her spirit remains stable, she journeys across the land's vast mountains and rivers. She traveled to Mount Qingce to watch waterfalls cascade from on high, crashing down and flowing anew through limpid springs. She ventured to Guyun Stone Forest to witness spears of rock thrust high into the vast sky above, their grandeur assailed by the howling winds, steadfast and resolute. You know how much I want Zhongli to pull some shit like that again? Like, bro, what do you mean Zhongli threw gigantic spears into the ocean? I want to see that. I want him to do that at some point. You know? I feel like not a single Archon, other than maybe Mavuika, has ever shown us their full power. And I would like to see it, right? I would really like to see it. Zhongli, big ass spears from the sky. That's so cool. Venti, some weird time fucking power. Motherfucker Blue Merjavariev of the timeline. I will never forget this line because it's ridiculous to say out loud. How can you just say that? Like, it doesn't make sense. What else? Fucking Raiden can cut fucking islands in half. She has done that. That is something she can do, man. There is no Hydro Archon, so it's kind of tough. And we don't really know what Nouvelette can do. But probably a lot, you know. Mavuika is just a human, so even though she is a god, she's still a human. So her feats will not be as great as the other Archons. But still, she cracked the fucking fake sky, man. And Kolobina, like, made Kuvaki. That's a pretty big thing, so if she hasn't, she'd be pretty fucking strong. I forgot where I was. I read this. Okay. She journeyed to Jademouth to glimpse fishing boats dot the water beneath towering pieces of ancient jade as mountain songs echoed in the distance. She wandered to Julian Karst to behold ethereal mists swirling and billow, like a lake of shifting white or an endless upturned sea. Okay. I don't know why we needed to know about her travels, but okay. She was the angel who had taught ancient Langan the art of silk paintings. Now she called on those skills that had lain dormant for millennia. Whenever she encountered a scene of exceptional beauty, she would harness her adaptable powers to embroider the majestic landscape onto silk. Over time, the mountains and rivers she captured spread over thousands of miles, a magnificent, resplendent tapestry of silk. When free from all labor, Zibai would happily retrieve her silk paintings and admire it. The longer she looked, the brighter her face would shine with joyous pride. It's said that the Lord of Geo, upon observing her behavior, took quite an interest in the painting as well. Many times he asked to borrow it, but was consistently rebuffed, Zibai's reason being that it was not yet finished. Who knows how magnificent and grand the splendid landscape will be when it is finally completed. Why would Zhongli borrow it? Like, what do you need to borrow it for? Like, it's a painting, you don't borrow paintings. Like, what, you gonna have it for like 2 days and give it back? Like, just look at it now. Like, what fuck you are borrowing it for? The hell? Oh god, the moon wheel has a lot. Okay. She would be like an OG Moonwheel person, actually. As with her kin, Zibai was born in accordance with a divine plan. Thus, she appeared beneath the skies of Tevat, bearing the mantle of the heavens mission. The sparkling stars in the sky loved this world and sought to shape it into a garden of joy. Understanding her mission well, the emissary began to cultivate the soil. If the soil were fertile, the flowers and plants would flourish. But if the soil were spoiled, the garden would become a putrid swamp. Yeah. Flowers of joy would bloom under the fervent morning sunlight, while flowers tainted with putrescence, bro, must be uprooted with the soil, lest they profane the heavens' love. Thus by his destiny flowed the course of the divine plan that had birthed her, until, that is, that fateful day, for reasons unknown, right? The shadow of a king, that shade of time, placed before Zebai a crest engraved with the sigil of the moons. Its meaning was that she would no longer be just an angel of the morning stars. She would become an envoy of the moons as well. Huh. Wait. So the moon wheels were also made by heavenly principles? I thought that was an older, like, dragon tech. But he also made those? Oh, I was heavily mistaken about this then. Oh. Because if Istaroth just brings it, that means he made them, just like Vision, right? Wait, but like, what the fuck? Man, why am I'm always so confused about the fucking timeline in this game. But that would be like fucking thousands of years ago. And he already had shit like this? This is fucking weird. Okay. Where was I? Here, right? Its meaning was that she... Oh, wait, no, I read this one. I was here. Was this too destined by the divine plan? So she wondered. Indeed, this was part of shaping the world. Thus she began to travel back and forth, from the morning stars to the moons, to the garden. Though she did not accept that crest. Oh, she didn't take it? Why? Huh. Also, it's interesting that they are talking about, like, morning stars and all that stuff. And she calls Zhongli's title is, like, Heaven's Star. Like, what the fuck is he, man? What is he? This is crazy to me, because when you think about, like, real world, right? And then we combine it with Genshin. Like, the moons have a lot of power in Genshin, right? That's like the thing. Well, in the real world, how it works is like the moon, it does not glow unless there is the sun, right? The only reason why you have the moon's glow is because it reflects the sun, right? Would that then imply, maybe in Genshin, that the moon power is just a reflection of the sun power? Whatever the fuck the sun power even would be? I don't think we know anything about that, but could it be? And if so, why is Zhongli called Heaven's Star, man? Why is his name Heaven's Star? It's highly suspicious, man. It's so weird. Okay, yeah, we're here. Okay. Since she did not understand how such an extraneous... What the fuck are these... Bro, I hate this. The crest could make the divine plan any more perfect, she judged its acceptance unnecessary to her mission. But over time, she began to realize that the will and love of the morning stars and the moons for the garden she was cultivating did not seem equal. The brilliant light of the morning stars always shone with vigor across the entire garden, not lingering on any single flower for long. They did not worry about scorching the flowers and soil that were not sacred. Even if it would turn them into pure nothingness, the silver moonlight was different. Shunning the soil it preferred to seep into the roots of each scorched plant, offering solace to those that had suffered the withering light. I need to look something up. I'm sorry. I'm getting really confused about what the fuck do they mean morning stars? Cause like it's it's multiple, right? So it's not like the big guy, right? I'm just gonna quickly look it up. Okay, I'll just click this. I mean, I don't think it's... I don't know if... I don't know what it is. I mean, if it's multiple... I mean, okay, if it says that it treats everybody equally, right? It seems kind of like it could be the shades, but like, why would the shades be the stars if they're a shade? But still, it's kind of weird. But it could be, because they do treat everything equally, right? Death comes for everybody equally, so does life, so does time and space. It's all equal. So I guess I'm gonna go with that. Because it fits. Of the two, whose will and love was more sacred? Such doubts would arise within Zabai's heart from time to time. The answer was clear. The solution lay within the riddle itself. The divine plan was, naturally, the most sacred. Yet, for some reason, Zabai's gaze followed the moonlight, lingering longer and longer on the small patch of flowers and plants she tended herself. When flowers bloomed, they were like laughter. When flowers withered, they were like falling tears. But the soil cannot laugh, so why should what is born from it be capable of sorrow? Oh, whoa, that's deep. Lost in thought, Zabai cast her gaze. Flowers blooming, flowers withering, fruits forming, fruits falling, new buds blossoming, flowers blooming, flowers withering. Okay, it's gotta be the shades, because it's constant life and death and all that. Yeah, it makes sense. Later, she heard that a flower bed managed by a peer had profaned the divine and was completely uprooted. Sorrow washed over her, but it soon turned to unease. Indeed, her mission from the heavens did not include sorrow. So how could one born from that very mission feel such an emotion? Oh. Had she been reduced to a plan that needed guidance? Had the will and love she once bore lost their sanctity? She seemed to mark the moment that fate first went astray, only to culminate in another. The moment when the sky collapsed, and falsehood descended. The garden turned to scorched earth, with flowers and plants teetering on the brink of collapse. The scorching heat seared her will, leaving her powerless to gather her thoughts. At that very moment, the moon crest dropped onto her back like a falling tear. It was the same cold glow she had once beheld and turned down, yet it bestowed upon her the same tranquility and solace as it did upon the flowers and plants in the garden. In that fleeting moment of chill, she realized that before she was consumed by the scorching brilliance of the morning stars, she could still love her flowers for untold ages. This whole thing is like a big-ass metaphor, isn't it? And I'm just too stupid to fully grasp it, I feel like. Classic me, honestly, but yeah. So it seems like she slowly was understanding that the heavenly principles may not be that divine and that good and that nice, right? It seems like this is the whole idea here. Like she slowly was like doubting though, which is very valid. because then they later nuked her favorite nation. Well, who would have known, right? Who would have known? Okay, that was pretty cool. We cannot do Eat Lua fully here. Like, well, actually, we cannot do shit with Eat Lua, in fact. So we're gonna do that on the wiki. Do I do it now? We could probably do it now, just so we go in order. Oh fuck! I didn't mean to say that. Okay. Let me pull up our boy. Okay. Genshin wiki. Let's see. Eat Lua. I'm gonna check if they have voiceover on the wiki already, but I doubt it. Oh shit, they do, actually. Wow. I mean, they always have like the text for the voiceover, but I mean like the voices. They usually don't have them, but they do have Ilua already. Okay, so we can check the interesting ones for Ilua. I guess we'll start with the voice lines, because where's my here? I'm gonna make it bigger, just so we can like. Okay, yeah, we can see that. I'm gonna go with like the interesting ones, which I think probably will just be the ones about characters. Let's see. Oh, we have squad members and it's friendship 6 and you need to do a quest. Maybe that's interesting. Okay, let me unmute the audio for you guys. Wait, I'm gonna... Fuck, because I have Genshin audio. You can't hear it, but it's gonna distract me. I'm gonna mute it for myself for now. Okay, let's see. Squad members.
Now that you're a member of the
Oh,
investigation
Jesus Christ.
squad.
Stop. That's so loud. I'm so sorry. Why is that so fucking loud? Oh, man.
Now that you're a member of the investigation squad, I'm responsible for your safety, and a whole squad's worth of little birds tell me you've been off adventuring in dangerous places again. Seeing you safe and sound puts my mind at ease, but I'd feel even better if you let me come with you.
Wait, they lock this behind the quest just because she calls you a member of the investigation squad? This is that's it? Nothing else here is like a spoiler for the quest, and it's not really a... Okay, man, sure. All of that for Friendship 6 is kind of crazy. About the vision. Oh.
Someone once told me these were no more than pretty gemstones. It
What the
wasn't
hell?
until I held one myself that I understood what it truly meant. I don't think fate gave it to me by accident, but still, the onus is on me to prove I'm worthy.
I'm a firm believer that visions are not as good as people think they are. You know? Something to share. You know what?
If
Sure.
you look north from the highest point in Pyramida, you can just about make out the edge of the Snezhnayan tundra. They say that was the homeland of our first Starshina, Torchforger Solovey. He ended up losing everything, even his home. Yet here, he found a place to belong. Maybe that's why this fortress exists, as a refuge for people like us, a place to find warmth in each other.
Wait, highest point in Pyramida you can see Snezhnayan tundra. I doubt we can actually see it, because we're still quite far from Snezhnaya, so I doubt they put a placeholder thing in there. But that's interesting. So it's somewhere close by then, if you can see it. Right. Interesting thing.
Around Pyramida, you'll run into all sorts of strange creatures brimming with Kuvaki. Mandragoras, sloth sheep.
I
you
saw
name it.
those.
They might look like animals, but they're actually plants. So don't be fooled by the mimicry. Still, they taste delicious.
Okay.
I could whip something up for you to try if you'd like. How do I know how they taste? Let's just say, when you're out in the middle of nowhere on night patrol, a little improvisation goes a long way.
I mean, if they're plants, why not eat them? I don't know. About Flynn's.
When I first met Mr. Flynn's, I assumed that the reason he lived alone was either because he didn't like being around people, or that he was just a little eccentric. Turns out that the complete opposite is true. Well, at least in terms of his social appetite. Only thing is, every time we talk, he always seems to end his stories on a cliffhanger. Sometimes I wonder if that's his way of making sure I'll come back to hear the rest.
Oh, that's kind of... If that's actually the reason, that's actually kind of cute. About Flint's secrets. There are 2 Flint's things.
You're saying there's a lot more to Mr. Flynn's than meets the eye? Huh. Well, that's hardly unusual for a ratnik. We're all from different walks of life, so who doesn't have a few things they'd rather keep to themselves? Even my old pops rarely talks about his past. As for Mr. Flynn's, well, I've certainly got to know him a lot better, and after everything that's been going on lately, I've got a rough idea of what he might be hiding.
Oh.
I actually asked about it once, but he neither confirmed nor denied my suspicions. In a way, I guess that's an answer in itself.
I feel like Ilua like constantly tries to guess what Flint's actually is, and he never gives the correct answer. He just like throws some random bullshit. Okay, Nauma.
Our friendship with the Frostmoon Scions goes all the way back to the days of the Torchforger himself. Truth is, though, even if it didn't, I'd still have nothing but admiration for the current Moonchanter. She's kind, gentle,
And
and I end up
attractive.
learning something new every time I visit. In times like these, her job can't be any easier than ours. Yet somehow, she always manages to stay so serene. I'd bet that she's been shouldering a lot more than she lets on.
Oh, she's definitely shouldering something pretty heavy, but I don't think it's what you think. But, you know. Varka!
I fought side by side with Mr. Varka against the Wild Hunt, and I can tell you this. His fighting skills are up there with the best of them.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
that the
I
Knights
know.
of Favonius were founded to defend their homeland, just like us Lightkeepers. I hope that someday, once we've finally driven the Wild Hunt from Nodcry, we'll be able to travel beyond these lands and fight for those living in hardship elsewhere as well.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. I like that. Ooh, Nefer. Let's see.
Our operations in Nasha Town have become way smoother in recent times, and it's mostly thanks to the Curatorium of Secrets. It sure wasn't like this before, I'll tell you that. Before Miss Nefer arrived on the scene, it was like we were locked in a constant battle with the town's gangs, and it used to worry my old pops sick. Things have improved immensely since then, though. That said, Miss Nefer seems to love teasing me just as much as Mr. Flint's does. And I have to admit, that can be a bit of a headache sometimes.
So, the reason why it's so nice with the gangs now that Nefer's in town, for anybody who doesn't know, like, she killed all the leaders of the major gangs. They're dead. They're literally dead. That is in one of Nefer's stories in her profile. She literally killed them all. Pretty sick, if you ask me. Okay, I know. If he talks about being lectured by Aino and doesn't want to be there, that's on point.
Whenever the Lightkeepers need help fixing complex machinery, we tend to ask for Miss Aino's assistance. She really seems determined to teach us how to do it ourselves, though.
There we
Ever since
go.
she caught me trying to repair something on my own, she's been constantly insisting that I attend her classes. How exactly was I trying to fix it, you ask? Well, if you must know, it was a trick I learned from my old pops. As he likes to put it, if something's not working, just whack it a few times. To my shock, that set her off something fierce.
How would that do anything? What the fuck? Okay, Linnea, I'm curious about this one because that's the next character that's coming out. So I do guess to learn more about her.
Even in a place as diverse as Nodcry, Fae ladies like Miss Linnea are few and far between.
Oh, she's
I
openly
originally figured
talking that
she'd
she's
be
a
the
Fae.
quiet, graceful type, but it turns out that was way off. For instance, the first time she saw Aiden, she got so excited that she practically pounced on him. It spooked him so bad that now, the second he hears her voice, he bolts for my lamp. And remember, this is Aiden we're talking about here. A messenger bird who's usually so unflappable that he wouldn't flinch for anything. Not even the Wild Hunt.
Huh. Okay. It's interesting that Linnea is like very opposite to Flynn's. Because Flynn's hide the fact that he's a Fae. Linnea seems to be very open about it, because if even Ilua knows, then, you know... Wait, but if if Ilua knows a Fae, why did he never guess that Flynn's might be one? I don't know, man. It seems kind of weird. Okay, Moon Goddess.
Nodcry is an Elysium built by human hands, a dream kept alive over the centuries by the blood and sacrifice of countless generations of Lightkeepers. There might be a new deity in town, but I don't think our way of life will suddenly change because of that. It's not that I doubt the Moon Goddess herself. Far from it. I just believe that, rather than waiting for someone else to save us, we do better to rely on our own strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what? More about Ilua? We can do more about Ilua, right? Is there anything else here? No, not really. Okay, let's do more about Ilua.
You want to know about my past? Let me think. Nope, I don't think there's anything in there that would put a smile on your face. You sure you want to hear it?
Bro, I didn't ask for a happy story. I asked about your past, man.
Meet Aiden, my messenger bird. The trusty little guy who comes with me whenever I head out on night patrol. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a better companion. Not only does he alert me to danger, he even lights the way ahead. Huh? You mean, despite all that traveling, even you've never seen a bird that glows like this before? Hold up. Could he actually be more than just a regular messenger bird?
Ilua, you cannot be this dumb. Birds don't glow. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course he's not a normal bird.
You've probably noticed that my oath lantern is a bit different from the standard issue ones that everyone else carries. It's not because I'm a squad leader or anything like that. It's just the signal lamp I used back when I served in the logistics squad. Later, when our equipment was upgraded, this became the last of its kind. I guess you could say I've grown kinda attached to it. The idea of replacing it doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah, but my problem with Ilua's lantern compared to the standard issue one they have right now is that it only glows forward. I think like that's pretty bad, right? You would want it to glow all the way around just in case. Although maybe it concentrates the light, because if it glows only one way, then maybe more light goes. I don't know. Anyway.
You know how I call Nikita my old pops? Well, it probably wouldn't surprise you to hear that the others all call him old man too. Despite that though, I don't actually think he's aged much at all. He still remembers the positions of every lighthouse and who's stationed there, even better than I do. And no matter how hard I try, I can never hide a thing from him. But that's exactly why I can't help but wonder, what will happen someday when the years finally catch up to him?
That's a fair thing to think. Yeah, that is true. If he's such a great leader, losing him now would be pretty bad for them, for sure.
Whenever the wild hunt comes forth, the wails of the dead follow in its wake. And every time I hear those cries, I feel like I'm back on that battlefield, reliving the day that my old pops took me in. Perhaps as long as the wild hunt still roams this land, the nightmares that haunt me will never truly fade.
It's interesting that he said nothing about that battle that he was in anywhere in here, but that could be in his other things. Where would that be? Storyline? I'm not sure where. I'm never I always forget where to look for these. I don't think this is the one. Oh, profile, probably profile, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, how much does he got? Oh my god, what the fuck? How much can you type about fucking Ilua, bro? Holy shit, man. Dude. Okay, that's a lot of reading. Man, I don't think we'll finish everything. I have fucking 2 hours left. We'll definitely hit up Varka, but the books we might need another day for, because goddamn, I don't think I'll be able to read books, man. Actually, let me check how long they are. Wait, let's see real quick. The game is muted, so you can't hear it, but let's see. Because there are 3 books. Oh, it's these 3. Yeah. So this one, oh yeah, no fucking way we do this. This one. And then this one. Yeah, no shot. There is no fucking way. I thought I would be able to do these, but I don't think so anymore. Okay. Where does it start? Character detail. Here we go. Okay. We need some music. Wait. We need some music for sure. You know what? Just so we don't... Okay, you know what we're gonna do instead? Just so I don't need to switch back and forth between the things. We're gonna do Varka now. Because I can do that in game, most of it at least. Right, so we're gonna do Varka now, and then we're gonna go to Ilua. Because that way we don't need to switch the games and all that. Let's do voiceover first. Drink, I kinda wanna hear this.
I like to drink on occasion.
Oh, it's this one.
Any and every occasion. Good one.
He says that like fucking every 2 minutes. About Varka, Knight of Boreas.
The Knight of Boreas serves as a bridge between humans and Lupus Boreas. But only a handful of us have truly managed to earn the Wolf Lord's recognition over the past millennium. Me? Oh yeah. You better believe I'm one of them.
Okay. Hey, I believe you. I believe you.
I've been on many expeditions to keep the peace around Mondstadt. Although none of them hold a candle to this one. One time we cleared out Dada Upa Gorge. Another, we joined forces with the Millilith to pacify Stone Gate. And once we set out from Falcon Coast to intercept some sea monsters offshore.
Oh.
No wonder you've never run into any strong foes in those areas. Really? I was sure I left a few here and there for people to practice on.
What do you left powerful monsters there on purpose? So that's crazy. What the fuck? Also, monsters on the shore. Where the fuck is Falcon Coast? Where is that? Do we know where that is? Or is that like a Mondstadt coast? Or oh, here. Why were there monsters on the... What the fuck? Okay. Interesting. Interesting, Varka. Interesting. Okay. Wait, Wait, am I crazy? Or are these voice lines like gray and these are white? Am I crazy or they're different colors? Yeah, these two are different colors. What the fuck? Why? Okay, whatever. About us.
Mondstadt is the city of freedom. It's a place that anyone can call home, whether you're the child of a sinner, a wandering god, or a traveler from afar. So, no need to stand on ceremony with me. You're the honorary knight after all.
A child of a sinner? Why would you say that as the first thing? Who are you referring to, Varka? Okay. About the vision.
I remember the day I got my vision well. I was still a reckless young hothead back then. Boy, was I thrilled that the Animo Archon had noticed me. Until I actually got to know Barbados for myself and realized that wasn't what it meant at all. Another youthful dream shattered. But the power it gave me, and the aspirations that brought it my way, those will never change.
Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. The Four Winds.
You know, I've never really understood the logic behind the Four Winds. I mean, the Dragon of the East, Falcon of the West, Lion of the South, I mean, they're pretty clear-cut, right? But Wolf of the North could refer to either Boreas or me. And the Knights of Favonius includes both the Lionfang Knight and the Knight of Boreas, which means the Favonian Westwind actually includes both the South and the North. How does that make any sense? Hmm? You think some bard picked the number 4 to make it sound cool? Yeah. Actually, that tracks.
Why would 4 sound cool? What is it about? There is a certain 4 that actually might be quite interesting. I don't see any correlation between that and the 4 winds, but why is cats and dogs? What is this?
Mondstadt once had a debate between cat people and dog people.
What?
You think the Knight of Boreas should probably lean towards dogs, right? But truth be told, I've kind of got a soft spot for cats too, you know? Puppies are real cute with their energy and all, but a nice, quiet cat also makes a great companion too. If I had the chance to adopt... yeah, I'd have to take them all.
Dude, Varga adopts every cat in Mondstadt. There's a lot of them there, Varga. You just grab them. 20.
Barbados. He may seem carefree and easy breezy at first glance, but when things get serious, so does he. And I've got to give him credit. The man's got taste when it comes to drinking. Truly a god worthy of Mondstadt. Hmm? Sounds like I'm talking about myself? You flatter me. I'm nothing next to the Animo Archon himself.
They are kind of similar when you think about it. Goofing around all the time, but when they need to be serious, they are. Like, both of them do that. And both of them drink a lot. Varka is just venti. Like, they're the same. What the hell? Okay, Razor.
Back when I first met Razor, he was only a few inches taller than the wolf pups of Wolvendom. Yeah, he could barely lift a great sword. But even then, teaching him how to use it was easier than learning how to talk with him. Must have taken me at least half a year to get the hang of it. All these years later, and he's made so many friends of his own. Oh, how time flies.
You know what is a weird translation for me always in some games? And they literally did this. Genshin uses the metric system. Right? Like, always. If it tells you how far something is, it's in meters. Everything is in meters. Why would he mention inches? Or height? I don't... Why? Why are we mixing those two? It's not a big deal, but like, I always like, why? Why not... Why change it? Anyway.
I'll keep my lips sealed where she's concerned. Don't want to get scolded for being a blabbermouth. There's ice in that glare of hers.
Yeah?
If there's anything you want to know, you're better off asking her yourself. I think that by now, she should be ready to talk about the past with you.
Well, she didn't tell me anything about her past. What do you mean, Varg? I want to know about her past. What?
So, he still won't return to the Knights. Fair enough. The wind in Mondstadt has always been free to come and go as it pleases. He has the freedom to not come back, and by the same token, I have the freedom to keep pestering him to rejoin. Still, I probably shouldn't push my luck. If I nag him too much, he could put me on Don Winery's blacklist. Now that would be a real crisis.
That'd be pretty bad. No more alcoholism. Yeah, that's awful. Kaya.
I know how much Master Krepis meant to Kaya. That tragic incident was no less devastating for him than for his adopted brother. But even after enduring such injustice and fraternal strife, he still chose to remain with the Knights. Ended up playing a key role in exposing Eric's corruption too. Since he chose to trust us, I also choose to trust him, no matter what lies in his past.
Yeah, his past? Kinda interesting, Barca. I feel like that's kinda... We should pay more attention to Kaya, man. I think we should. I really wonder if Kaya actually will be important. Because, like, he is Conrian. So it's like... Will that come to play at any point? Or is it just... Yeah, he's Conrian. That's it. It doesn't matter, but he is one. Jean.
You know, I've always felt
How
that
many
Jean's
voice
got the
lines does he-
talent and
Oh my
temperament to be
God.
a way better grandmaster than I am. But no matter how hard I try to convince her, she always insists that she's not qualified enough. Her and me both. I was pretty young myself when I took up the mantle. Honorary knight. If you get the chance, could you try talking her around? You think I'm trying to dump all my work onto Jean? Absolutely not. Perish the thought. I would never. Really. Swear on a glass of wine. There's no need for that, is there?
Oh my fucking... Bro, why does Varka have a voice line for like half of the Genshin cast? Dude, there's so many. There's so many. Varka, if I ask you about Noelle and you tell me you will not knight her right now, I swear to God.
Even I was surprised by her innate strength. I heard she's learning the sword from Jean now. After she's mastered both single and two-handed sword styles, I wonder if she might be able to inherit my... Oh? She chucked her sword straight up into the ceiling last time. All right then. Guess we need to schedule a few more training sessions for her.
She did, dude. I did learn that, actually. I did learn that. Because I was curious in the past. I didn't remember. It was a long time, but yeah, that is Noelle's sword and Jean's office in the fucking ceiling. Well, I guess it's Varka's office, but you know.
Feels like every other day that rascal's causing some kind of ruckus. I used to think he was like a younger me, eager to fight strong foes and win glory. Turns out, he's just into the fighting part. Couldn't care less about the glory. Well, at least when he's fighting the enemy, it keeps him busy. Otherwise, he'll be digging traps to ambush me out of boredom.
What the Bro, Lohan is fucked in the head. We met him once, and I immediately clocked that he's just fucking crazy. Okay, Mika.
When you're lost in life, you need a mentor to guide you. And when you're lost on a march, you need a map. By that logic, you could say Mika's my mentor. I tried telling that joke to Mika, but he went pale as a sheet. Honestly, he should have more confidence in himself. After all, not everyone could be a knight.
That is true. Bro, Varka saying Mika's his mentor might be the dumbest fucking sentence I've ever heard. Eula.
I've been planning to send someone to Dorman Port to receive the troops, but Eula told me she'd already arranged it.
Oh.
I reviewed the schedule, and everything was handled perfectly. I hadn't expected her to be so thorough, and this time she never mentioned vengeance even once.
What?
Nothing makes me happier than seeing our knights grow.
That's impossible. That makes sense. She hasn't said that in a while. Huh. Amber.
She's a ball of energy, isn't she? As our outrider and gliding champion, she's usually active around the outskirts of Mondstadt, helping those in need. She's the first knight of Favonius most visitors will meet, meaning she's practically the public face of the organization. She was the first knight you met too. Ha ha! Oh, that's our Amber.
That is true. She was... That's crazy. Albedo.
When Albedo first arrived in Mondstadt, he struck me as one of those model kids that all parents wish their own children were more like. So modest, so well-mannered. But to put it another way, he seemed quite reserved and cautious. I was hoping he'd learn to loosen up a bit. I mean, after all, how can you call yourself the City of Freedom if people aren't comfortable just being themselves? Well, I may have gotten more than I bargained for, because these days he'll even rib me about my painting skills.
How much? Varka's laughing so much. There's so many lines that he has with just laughing. It's crazy. Yeah, dude, Varka's literally just like a dad for all of Mondstadt, man.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first got reports about Durin's resurgence, my heart skipped a beat. I was about to send a crack team back home to defend Mondstadt. Thankfully, the new Durin is nothing like the old Durin. And what was once one of the greatest threats to Mondstadt is now one of our most reliable allies. Fate sure is an unpredictable force, huh? You never know which way the wind will blow next.
Yeah, it's so cool that like Durin's story is just so cool, man. Like from evil dragon to then like becoming like a normal good guy because you took out Durin from a fucking fairy tale, made him real, and then he took... Bro, it's so wild.
Our Spark Knight is getting better and better at escaping the solitary confinement room, isn't she?
What?
It seems like she's been taking my teachings to heart. Maybe I could even learn a thing or two from her. I mean, you know, forget I said that. I was talking about, painting techniques. Yeah, you're not gonna tell Jean or Albedo about this, are you? Oh, please, don't tell Alice either. Thanks.
Bro, I love Varka, man. Speaking of Alice.
Of all the titles Alice holds, the one I envy most is Adventurer of Many Worlds. I traveled plenty in my youth, but when I hear her describe the things she's seen, most of it is beyond my ability to even imagine. I wonder if I'll get a chance to broaden my horizons after I step down as Grandmaster. Oh, though it's an open question if I'll still have the energy for it by then.
Again, he just keeps laughing at random shit, man. I love him. Dude, it would be crazy if like we beat Genshin's story, right? And then Genshin 2, we go to a different planet or something. And we just grab Varka with us. And he's like one of the main characters. Be so fucking cool, man. Be so cool. Nicole!
There's a lot of things I'd like to learn from Nicole. With her incredible sense of direction, I'd never have to worry about getting lost on an expedition. And that telepathic
That's like her
communication
thing?
ability would be really handy for sending covert messages across the battlefield. What's that? Waste of an angel's powers? Hey, they're very practical applications.
Is having a good sense of direction like Nicole's thing? Nobody ever mentioned that before. That's like a thing she had? Like... What? I mean, sure, I love Nicole. Absolutely, I love her. Barbie?
I once glimpsed a reflection of the future in Barbarloth's scryglass. She said it was a vision that fate itself was trying to show me. But did fate also foresee that I would try to change it? And did it predict the way things would finally turn out? My answer is that there's no need to dwell on it. Overthinking things will only slow my sword. Whatever fate shows me, I'll still do whatever I believe is right.
That is a good question, right? If you read the future, right? You read the future, the fate, whatever is supposed to happen, and you do something else. Was that fated that you will do something else after you see it, or no? Did you actually change the fate, or is it just an illusion of choice? It's a great question. I know.
When I first met Aino, I was worried about her. Didn't seem right for such a young child to grow up on her own and not cry. Only later did I realize I had it all wrong. She's not alone, and she definitely doesn't need anyone to worry about her. Every child finds their own way to grow up, and worrying about them because of our preconceived ideas won't do them any good.
That's fair. I want Aino to meet Kali. Actually, I would fear for not cry if that happened, but I still would really like it to happen. Enough.
When I asked her to deliver that letter to you, I had no idea about everything she'd been through. A soul born in captivity who ultimately surmounted her curse and secured her freedom. I'm telling you, when her story reaches Mondstadt, it'll go down as one of the great epics. Whether it's Lady Vanessa or the Flower Feather clan, people are always inspired by tales of breaking free of your shackles in pursuit of freedom.
I mean, true. That's like your guys' thing. Flint.
People often confuse chivalry with the aristocratic code. Now, given how the aristocracy of old Mondstadt conducted themselves, there was a time when I wouldn't have let ideas like that slide. But if all aristocrats were like Flints, I'd be happy to share a drink with them any day of the week.
Hell yeah. The bros.
The Northern Intelligence Network was a great help to our expeditionary force when we arrived in Nod Cry. I intend to maintain our fruitful collaboration going forward. Even thought of a codename for myself. Lupus Majoris, huh? Pretty cool, right?
That's your constellation. How did you come up with that? How do you know that? Varka, how do you know that? You should not know that. Like, what? How do you know it? You guys. It's his constellation name. How does he know? What the fuck? Okay, Yehuda.
She may gripe a lot, but when she gets to work, she's ruthlessly efficient. You know someone's got true grit when they can make a name for themselves as treasure hunter in a rough and tumble place like Notcry. I have half a mind to recruit her to the Knights, but that would mean poaching her from her current boss, and she probably wouldn't want to switch jobs anyway. I was even thinking of offering a double her pay, but it's probably better not to ask.
I don't think Nefer would let her go, man. Malvika?
Whether as a human or as a god, the Pyro Archon is a formidable warrior worthy of respect. If I'd been born in that land, I wonder if I'd have had the chance to cross blades with her while she was still human. But then I wouldn't be able to protect Mondstadt, would I? No, that wouldn't do. I suppose it's just as well.
Well, Varka can still do this. They can agree to mutually not use the nose. I mean, only she has a notice, but like they could agree that Malvika won't use the notice. If Malvika doesn't use a notice, she's just a normal vision wielder. She doesn't have anything else. It's only when she uses the notice that she got godlike powers. Like, she is just like a normal woman. Like, there's nothing special about her without the notice. Right? So it's like, if she just doesn't use that, then that's a fair match. That'd be hype.
I only met him once, but... Really? A Knight of Conria. Sentinel Knight Thrain, huh? Sounds like he took his destiny into his own hands.
Oh my god. He'll be back. He has to be back, man. He has to be back. Actually, I saw a theory that is like, because you know, I always thought that the what the fuck? Oh yeah, because like I always had in mind that like Capitano isn't dead, right? Like that is like a factual statement because he's immortal. But like he fused his soul with the fuck are they named? The angel that has the Night Kingdom. I don't fucking know what they call him, but he fused himself with them, right? And I was like, well, if it's just a fusion, what if we just like unfused them and like he would come back for a little bit to like help us out or something, right? That seems plausible, right? But what did the Traveler do in Varka's quest? He separated Roland from Boreas in that one little scene, right? We separated them. The corruption of like the fake Roland and Boreas' soul, we separated them. We are able to do that. We just need some sort of catalyst. I think we used a letter to Roland, I think Varka gave us, and that was like the thing that helped us separate them. If we had something that is like belongs to Capitano, it's like something very close to him, could we separate him from the Lord of the Night? That's it. Could we separate them and then like put him back in his body? Is his body alone good enough as like this close thing to him, or would we need like an object? I don't know, but like maybe it's possible. Maybe he can come back, you know? Because I want Capitano, man. She's the GOAT. Like, we cannot just lose #1 Harbinger and just don't do anything, man. He has to come back, right? How many Harbingers do we even have at this point? Like, fucking... like 4? Wait, we have Arlecchino. Well, Dottore is alive still for sure. That's like 1,000,000,000%. But he went against the Tsarita, so he's like a traitor at this point. So I'm not even gonna count him because he's like clearly a traitor. The Tsarita told him to not do what he was about to do, and he did it anyway. So we're not gonna count Dottore, okay? So we have Arlecchino, we have Tartaglia, we have Pantalone, and we have Puccinella, right? Those are the only ones left. We have 4 out of the 11, bro. They're fucking dying left and right. What the fuck? And like Tartaglia and Arlecchino, we're chill with them. So like, realistically, our only two problems is like Puccinella and Pantalone, plus obviously Jester, right? Because like he's like the leader of the Fatui. He doesn't really count as a harbinger, right? And then the Sarita, but it's the Archon, so that's accept. Dude, what the fuck, man? Over half of them are dead. That being said, there is still one spot left, right? Because there is no, I don't remember which number there is, but like one of the Fatui just doesn't exist. Because remember, there's 11 of them before and after Scaramouche deleted himself, right? But if Scaramouche never existed to begin with, who took his empty seat? There has to have been a Fatui Harbinger, because otherwise why the fuck would it be the 11 and there is just one empty spot, right? That's weird. So there might be another hidden Harbinger somewhere. Anyway.
Huh? Me? What do you mean? What are you curious about? Hold on. There's a book in the library called 100 Things You Never Knew About Varka? Oh, okay. Now I'm curious too. I didn't even know that was a thing. Right. Let's fact check it.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
No Knight of Boreas has ever claimed to be the mightiest of all time, for both humility and honesty are knightly virtues until Varka. Because when he claims this, he is being both humble and truthful. I don't know.
What the fuck? Varka never claimed that he's the mightiest, right? Or did he? I don't know. Either way, he doesn't know what the fuck. Okay.
The four winds of Mondstadt once referred to Varka's main sword, offhand sword, left flank kick, and right fist. But nobody witnessed the full set and lived to tell the tale, so only the current version of the phrase remains. Oh well, that's going a bit far. No way could I handle all the work of the Four Winds alone.
Bro, the Four Winds has been around for hundreds of years. I don't think Varka has shit to do with that. Who wrote this book? What the fuck is this book, man?
Maybe put that book away. It's a little ridiculous. Probably written by some drunk fool. As you can see, the real-life Varka is just a regular human like everyone else. I feel pain, I bleed, I age. So, just like any other friend, you'll learn more about me through a catch-up at the tavern than you will by listening to tall tales and rumors. What do you say? Should we grab a drink?
Hell yeah, brother. Do we miss anything? Oh, okay, I'll check these on the wiki. They most likely definitely will not have. Let me check. I highly doubt. Orca. I highly doubt they will be voiced, but we can at least read them. Voiceovers. Yeah, they don't have the audio for these yet. Where is it? About Varka 5. Let's check it real quick. Oh, we literally went for a drink. Okay. Drink up another round. Or where was I? Oh yeah. This scar here is from scrapping with Boreas? Is that a... Okay. That old wolf clawed me good. I almost howled louder than him. And this one's from when I soloed the Hexen Circle trials. Why did you... Okay. If a mortal wants to protect everything, they have to be prepared to sacrifice everything. That's how I became the mightiest knight of Boreas. Yeah, that's how... Bro, okay. Wait, there's one more. Wait, what is the other one called? The other one was called... About Ass Catching the Wind. Why did I say ass like this? What? About Us is somewhere at the top, I think. Oh, here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Focus on a single thought with the 1,000 winds. Capture that unique wisp before it blows away. That's what Barbados said to me when he explained how to reverse the assimilation process. Unless you separate yourself out from Lupus Boreas, there's no way to avoid merging with the ley lines. I don't understand his words at the... Oh, I didn't understand his words at the time. But after experiencing it firsthand... Nope, I still don't really get it. What the... At least I won't have to go through that again. Come to think of it, I still haven't probably thanked you since I returned from the ley lines. Well, now's as good as time as any. You caught me, Outlander who caught the wind. What do you mean you caught me? You still didn't thank me. Okay. Sure, man. Man, I love Arca. Okay. Let's do... Okay, let's do this now. We'll do the story. And we'll do Ilua last. Yeah, we definitely won't have time for the books. I don't even know if we will be able to do Varka's weapon. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, character details. It is in bustling taverns that the grand tales of Varka are told. And they almost always begin with the extraordinary story of his birth. Okay, how's that? Okay. Some claim that when he was still in his swaddling claws, 2 venomous serpents sought to slay the hero he was to be. Yet the infant, not a full month old, seized them one in each hand, and tossed them from his cradle as if they were mere playthings. And thus, 'tis said, he grasped the secret of wielding twin... There is no way that's real. Some say that upon the very hour of his birth, a bitter north wind, the likes of which had not scourged Mondstadt in a century, tore through the sunlit skies, and from the depths of wolvendom rose a chorus of wolf cries, one answering another. 'Twas a declaration that the north wind would rise again to reclaim his place as the mightiest of the 4 winds. None of these are real. There's no way. Some whisper that he was born to be a knight, a favored child of fate, destined for greatness since his fairest breath. Such whispers, of course, are but the idle stuff of tavern tales. In Mondstadt, there are no fell serpents that single out infants as targets for their venom. There's no snakes at all. Nor packs of wolves that howl for no rhyme or reason. These tales are not but the beguiling? The fuck is... Okay, babble of tavern bards, who, with much ado, weave epics of high destiny and doom for entertainment. Not all legends are born of legendary beginnings, nor must every myth be guided by a god's own hand. On a perfectly ordinary day, without a breath of wind to drop of rain, in a home neither poor nor prosperous, Varka came into the world in the most ordinary way. No peril arose, no omen struck. In the days that followed, he grew up no differently from any other ordinary child in Mondstadt. Listening to the bards' tales of knights and gods, he dreamed of the day he might charge across a battlefield, just like the heroes of those very tales. Yet when the tales were over, and the children departed in 2s and 3s, he would always linger, clinging on with ceaseless questions. Why is it that the heroes are always born of some ancient bloodline, or blessed by the favor of gods long past? The bards could only offer an awkward smile and reply, "That's how the stories have always been told." Then who founded those ancient bloodlines? Who blessed the gods before their divinity? At this juncture, most bards would fall silent. A handful would point toward the Knights of Favonius library. One look to stories for these answers. One must look to history, and fewer still, wearied by such questions, would point toward the boundless wilderness beyond the city walls. What do I know? I'm just a bard. Ask Barbados. The fuck? Okay. Many years later, when Varka had at last become a legendary knight of the new generation and the hero of his own tale, he finally understood the bard's predicament. Reality requires no justification, yet a tale must earn the credence of its audience, and for the ordinary listener, it is nearly impossible to conceive. Without ancient bloodlines or divine favor, with nothing but ceaseless effort and unyielding will, how could a mortal forge a legend? That's fair. That's fair. You just get isekai'd. That's all you have to do. Okay, story 1. When a younger Varka first participated in the knight's prep exams, he floored every single examiner. That is to say, he literally bowled them over. Just as he was brimming with confidence, ready to receive his formal appointment as a knight, a letter of rejection arrived, shattering every last one of his dreams. To Varka, first and foremost, we would like to express our sincere appreciation for your participation in this assignment. Your capabilities and your aspiration to become a knight have left a lasting impression on us. However, after careful consideration and thorough review, we regret to inform you that... Before he could even finish the rest of the letter, Varka scrunched into a ball and threw it into the wastebasket. Then he reached for a scrap of paper to plan his next move. That very night, as Valentine, former Grand Master and the previous Lionfang Knight, was making his way home after a drink, he was ambushed by an assailant. With all his attendants laid out, Valentine was left to face the attacker alone, both impressed and speechless. Impressed because the assailant was much more capable than he had imagined, and his ability to conceive and execute the ambush in under half a day was nothing short of astonishing. Speechless because the assailant's absurd declaration left him in bewildered silence. If the Knights of Favonius can't even protect their own Grandmaster, how can they protect Mondstadt? They might as well hand the job to him. Oh, okay. Did you not finish reading the letter I wrote you? No way. Wait. Who reads a rejection letter to the end? I always put the important part in the postscript. You don't do that! Why the fuck would you put the most important part? What a dumb idiot. Who the fuck is this Grandmaster, bro? What the fuck? Fortunately, Valentine had already intended to speak to Varka in person, as noted in his postscript. But Varka's speed in turning through the action had advanced their meeting by a wide margin. So, after shaking the attendants awake and apologizing to each one in turn, Varka followed Valentine for a second round of drinks, and to hear the reasons behind his rejection. Over drinks, the two spoke at length, but it all boiled down to something quite simple. The wind born free should not be caged within city walls too soon. Oh, okay. Valentine believed that instead of standing guard in Mondstadt or patrolling its outskirts, Varka should venture out to distant nations and uncharted frontiers. Just as the adage holds, only by practicing 1,000 melodies can the bard strike an extraordinary chord. Only by studying 1,000 blades can the smith forge a legendary weapon. Not to mention, if we actually made you sit in an office for 3 years, no, 3 months, you'd be handling in your resignation. That is true. Confronted by Valentine's piercing observation, Varka gave a non-committal laugh, swallowing his 3 days give or take with a gulp of wine. That's very valid. What I really want is for you to find your own reason for being a knight, Valentine said, his smile turning serious. And it shouldn't be your stray-eyed fantasies, nor something you heard from a bard's tale. Once you found that reason, come back to Mondstadt. The very next day, Varka set out on his journey to discover what could make the free wind content to remain within city. oh, within city walls, and become a knight. Even if the day should come when, for the sake of being a knight, you find yourself doing the work you loathe day after day. Borne by the salt-tinged breeze of dormant port, the young man narrowed his eyes against the rising sun and recalled the old knight's solemn counsel once more. Even if the day should come when, for the sake of that very same title, you must surrender the glory and pride you hold dearest. Okay. Interesting. That's a cool little backstory. Okay, so will these stories be his travels then? Okay, let's see. No homeland was till other lands defied its frame. No longing was till farewell spoke its name. While Seamus Peg... Oh, that's is that the... That's like Barbara St. Jean's dad, right? I think his name is Seamus. It's definitely Peg. That I'm sure of, but I think it's Seamus. I don't remember. That being said, he got divorced with his wife, so... Anyway. Wrote that short verse in his notebook. Varka crouched by the campfire, warming a pot of wine. If you ask me, you should really come to Mondstadt. With your gift for song and words, you'd be a sensation among us. We'll see. Seamus accepted the cup from Varka and shrugged non-committally. That's another time they used this word. At least that dandelion wine you mentioned sounds worth a try. Wait, Seamus not from Mondstadt? What? On a winter night in a distant land, two up-and-coming adventurers from far from their respective homelands crossed paths by chance. Okay. By then, Varka had already journeyed through many nations. He had witnessed the most monstrous of creatures prowling the mountain peaks and churning oceans into towering waves. He had seen the bravest of men armed with little more than crude spears and cloth armor, standing their guard against hordes of enemies. The Millelith, the guards, different people from different lands, called by different names, sharing the very same spirit. Yet it felt as though a veil still hung between him and the answer he so desperately sought. As the years abroad slipped by, his longing for home was the only thing that stayed. I wonder, did young Master Krepis go back to take over the winery? Or did he finally achieve his dream of becoming a knight? Young Master? Wait, so Krepis is younger than Varka? How fucking old is this guy right now? Like, he seems so... Like, he doesn't look old, but like, he knew like the look and everybody as a kid, like when they were still kids. And it's like, bro, how old are you? Okay, let's see. And what of Frederica, who never had a good word for anyone? Has hell finally frozen over? Has she taken a shine to some lucky fellow? No, do you know? What about Erock? He was always so quick to point out how I fell short of the chivalric code. Hate that word. He has grown more forgiving with time. I wonder if the wine back home still tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who should... No. I wonder if my family misses me as often as I miss them. If you're so curious, why not just go back? Bluntly, Seamus interrupted Varka's incessant rambling. Oh, you're not like me. You don't have anyone left to miss and not cry. Go back, but I still haven't found my answer. Those people you were rambling about, why can't they be your answer? Varka fell silent, his cup frozen halfway to his lips. It was as though a veil of his heart had been torn away. Home was never some nebulous concept. Likewise, the reason for becoming a knight never required the burden of a grand noble purpose. Only, how could such a simple truth take so many years to click? If you went back now, wouldn't those guys back home laugh themselves hoarse? Shouldn't a hero's awakening come in a moment of legend, followed by a triumphant return at an epic hour? This isn't how it goes in the bard's tales. Still, perhaps the truth isn't nearly as simple as people think. After all, one has to leave home before one can learn to miss it. Sensing the turmoil in Varka's thoughts, Seamus cleared his throat and snapped his notebook shut. Fine. If you need a reason that badly, then consider it your job to get me to Mondstadt. Besides, I want to see this this dandelion wine you keep talking about. I want to see if it's really as impressive as you say. So Varka was telling to him stories of Frederica, and then he was like, damn, Frederica? Yeah, I like that girl. I need to have 2 children with her right now. What the fuck? Wait, let me close the window real quick. This is so stupid. How the fuck did Varka find him randomly in some other nation, bring him to Mondstadt, and then he had children with Frederica, dude? What the fuck is going on? And then they got divorced later. I don't know what caused the divorce, but like it did happen. I don't know if it was ever explained why they got divorced or not, but like they are now divorced. Hence the reason why Jean and Barbara don't have the same name, because Jean has the name of her mom, being Frederica, the name being Gunhilder, and then Barbara is Barbara Peg from Seamus. What the fuck, man? How can you simp that bad over Varka telling you stories of Frederica, man? I don't understand. Okay. Which one was this? Was this the second one? Yes. Okay. Story 3. Since formally inheriting the title of the Knight of Boreas, Varka remained undefeated across every campaign he led. If Lionfang is a blessing of abundance for the earth, then Boreas is the indomitable spirit behind a formidable strength. Be they vile outlaws or monstrous terrors that ravage the realm, or even the creeping darkness of the abyss, all shatter beneath the blade that bears the north wind's biting chill. Following a series of campaigns, any remnant danger within the territory was utterly purged, and Mondstadt entered a golden age of peace as none had seen before. Peace arrived with such apparent ease that people began to view it as the natural order of things. A sentiment arose that in this age of tranquility, the knights should hang up their swords and spend their days finding lost cats or wrangling misbehaving dogs. I mean, if there's nothing better to do, I guess. After becoming Grand Master, Varka drowned out these noises and pushed forward with his next expedition. His early years as an adventurer served as a constant reminder. The peace that they were enjoying was but a happy accident. The absence of a visible threat did not mean that the danger had vanished. The abyss still festered in the north. Monsters still lurked beneath the waves. Durin still resided in the snowy mountains. Ursa was only deep in slumber. Wait. Ursa is the... Wait. Yeah, it's the dragon. I checked on the wiki real quick. Wait, they didn't kill him? Wait, on the wiki it says deceased prior to the game's events. Oh, fuck you mean it's slumbering? It's dead. I thought it's been killed. What do you mean it's in slumber? What? Okay, I'm confused now. Okay. Any of these could shatter the fragile peace they had fought so hard to secure. The seniors who had paved his path had grown old. Lionfang Knight Valentine, Cavalry Captain Hero is his name, I think, Captain of the Ranged Company, Adorno, and yet the knights of the new generation still had much to learn. Also, most useless title in all of fucking game, Cavalry Captain. Where the fuck are the horses, bro? Where are they? I genuinely mean this. Whenever we get Dormant Port, if there is not a single fucking horse, then what the fuck are we doing, Hoyoverse? You cannot talk about the cavalry captain, how Varka took the horses on an expedition, that's why Kaya doesn't have a horse, and all this shit, and then there's no fucking horses for 6 years. You can't be doing this, man. There's gotta be a fucking horse in Dormant Port, or it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it makes no sense. Okay. Varka knew all too well that his own prime would eventually wither with age. As Grandmaster, he sought to buy more time for the next generation. As a warrior in his own right, he wanted to test his mettle against the mightiest of enemies before his best years began to fade. And so, after entrusting Mondstadt's affairs to the veteran knights and Inspector Irok, Varka set out once more on another expedition. But this time, Varka suffered a most devastating defeat. In his own blinding brilliance, the knight remained blind to the shadow he cast, when jealousy and malice had begun to spawn. Varka never realized that from the day he returned to Mondstadt and joined the Knights of Favonius, a twisted seed had already taken root in Irok's heart, and when the doctor's segments whispered to the man in power and authority beyond all measure, the darkness within Irok surged forth like a flood. Varka has so many callbacks to the fucking manga. Hoyoverse, when are we getting more manga? It literally ended with to be continued, yet it never fucking continued. Like, what? Why are you just lying, bro? A wanderer who spends his days idling abroad, hailed as the strongest knight of Boreas in history? A lawless maniac who flaunts every code of chivalry, yet lays down the law for the other knights? Warped obsessions and the passage of time can turn friends into foes as easily as the wind changes its course. The inspector, who was meant to safeguard order in Varka's stead, trampled upon every principle of justice instead. Irok, the man solemnly entrusted with the security of the seal, roused an ancient horror from its slumber, plotting to lay claim to the power of the heavens alongside the doctor. Okay, so the expedition kicked off before the events of the manga. So that's why Varka said that the Drake was just in slumber, because he was, and then Dottore with the guy brought him here. Yeah, so okay, so the dragon was killed while Varka was away. That's okay. I get it now. Once again, I don't get the timeline. I'm way too confused with shit. Even as Varka was once again striking down formidable foes beyond the borders, holding the line for Mondstadt at the frontiers, devastating news arrived from home. His old friend Krepis had died in combat, and Inspector Irok had turned traitor. Varka returned in hassle, immediately setting to work uprooting those who had colluded with the turncoat. But Irok had inflicted too many wounds upon Mondstadt in the intervening years. Cornered by Varka with no way out, he took his own life amidst peals of manic laughter. That laughter held no words, yet every note rang with a clear, bidding mockery of the invincible Knight of Boreas, the Grandmaster who rivals the gods. Behold, you've stumbled, you've failed. You're only human after all. Damn. What the fuck is Enoch's problem, bro? Fucking fuck that guy, man. Like, how? What the fuck, man? The shit's fucked up. Or he is fucked up. Also, how come Dottore openly just helped this guy do all of this shit, and then we still had like a good relationship with the Fatui at the start of the game? Like, the fuck is up with that? Like, what? Your traitor colluded with the Fatui, killed multiple people essentially, did some weird experiments too. I remember that they had like a fucking arena for like children or whatnot. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think we can have some peace with the Fatui. Yeah, that's fine. Like, the fuck? What is going on? Okay, story 4. No matter how formidable a single person's power may be, even if that power rivals the divine, they cannot protect all things. There are corners in the vast world that will always remain unseen. Oh, Jesus. Schemes in this unpredictable life that will always remain unforeseen. Mondstadt's freedom and peace were won at a great cost, and safeguarding them is a task far beyond the reach of a single man. Or a single god. One can never be too prepared. And so the Knights of Favonius must keep up with the times. The ranged company must be outfitted with new firearms to bolster their stopping power. Nobody's using a gun in Mondstadt. Okay. Well, the support company must develop modern fortifications to adapt to the changing phase of the battlefield. There's no need to rely solely on the brilliance of a few outstanding heroes. The evolution of tactics and equipment can tangibly improve the combat effectiveness and survival rate of every single knight. And so, the Knights of Favonius must nurture a legacy that endures. A new generation of knights, whom he had watched grow up, was now coming into its own. Many are already serving as the organization's new backbone, yet there are still those who have not truly grasped what it means to be a knight, nor are they ready to shoulder the weight of that title, just as Varka was in his youth. And so, Mondstadt must have resolute and unreliable allies. Under the mediation of the Animal Archon, Varka took his place at the Tri-Party Conference. With cunning charm and a silver tongue, he sought to win over a mage who walked beyond the world's common logic. I never expected a knight to have such a way with words. It almost makes one wonder if Barbados might be whispering lines into his ear. Such was Alice's assessment of Varka's display. At last, the mages set their names upon the pact. Perhaps they were unmoved by his words. Perhaps they had motives of their own. In any case, with this pact in place, Mondstadt had secured one more safeguard for its future. In accordance with the pact, the trial forged by the combined power of the mages was finally completed. Varka, who hadn't let loose in ages, would at last set all worldly duties aside and lose himself in a truly exhilarating fight. At the end of the trial, the mages asked the knight to make a wish, but the knight had nothing to ask for. The city he sought to protect was safe, and the power he desired he would seize with his own hands. And so, on a whim, Varka asked if he might steal a glance at Barbalov's scryglass, just to satisfy the sudden spark of curiosity. Before the thrill of the battle could even fade, Varka caught a glimpse of fate's design reflected in the scryglass. What the water mirrored was at once a vision of boundless glory and endless suffering. He saw the legends he had idolized since childhood locked in a struggle against real dragons. He saw them surpass their own limits in the heat of blood-soaked battle, becoming the heroes of dreams amidst cheers of jubilation. But he also saw a dark calamity creeping across the lands of Nordkrai and Snezhnaya, and heard the wails of strangers echoing from the depths of the snowfields. Why become a knight? In his younger years, Varka had given himself an answer: to protect those he loved and protect those who loved him in return. Now the fate greeted him with a colder, more cutting question. Would a knight still fight for those who might not even know his name? If fate was bold enough to show its hand, why not play the hand he was dealt? If the storm has yet to reach Mondstadt's shores, why cast aside his dreams now to go chasing shadows in the north? There was no need for hesitation. The unruly north wind has never followed anything but its own whims. And every child of Mondstadt born into freedom carries the same answer in their heart. We will not bow before any tyrant, even if that tyrant is fate itself. That's a hard line, actually. That's kind of crazy. Huh. Okay, I think we should do characters 35 and then do this. So let me... Oh, fuck. I don't know, Varka. Profile. Story 5. Okay, we'll read it in the browser because I don't have the other thing. Here, have the audio. I'm gonna move myself here. Okay. Let's see. Character story 5. There are numerous ways to enjoy tabletop. That's a switch up. Okay. A game popular across many nations. Even the Expeditionary Force makes use of it, hosting games during their leisure hours to help broaden the knight's strategic thinking. Traditionalists insist that role-playing and narrative are the heart of the game, but every game has its rules. And so long as there are rules, there will be players looking to push them to their absolute limits. That's kinda what the Heavenly Principles doesn't really like. My character is a righteous and honorable knight, but I once crossed paths with a cursed blade. To suppress its fury, I have no choice but to carry it with me at all times. Okay, why are we... Why is D&D a part of Varka's story? What the fuck is going... Okay. Is this Varka? Okay. And while I am merely an ordinary bard, the rumors I've picked up in countryside taverns have taught me many a secret regarding the hidden depths of magic. Beyond that, you'll find the people who insist on pitting these characters against each other to see who comes out on top. A high-level master of Chi can attack 5 times in one turn and leap onto rooftops in a single bound. That's way too strong. But what happens when they run into magic? They'd be sitting ducks. Magic casters are obviously superior. They can reshape the world itself. Oh, fuck, I keep pressing the... Where was I? Oh, here. No, look at this. A heroic bard can cast spells while attacking. And if they're doubled in these other traits, not only can they cast spells, but they can also hit their target 20 times over in a single turn. You're just exploiting a loophole, but that's exactly how it's written in the rulebook. Whenever such stalemate arose over the Expeditionary Force's sand table, all the bickering would end with one thing. Grandmaster, what's your call? Okay. As Grandmaster and Game Master, Varka's response was very blunt. Hey, so Varka's fucking DMing for his other knights on the expedition? What the fuck? I mean, realistically speaking, I think D&D would be a decent way of, I don't know, training for like quick thinking and strategizing. Because like the DM can just make shit up and you gotta on the fly figure out, okay, how do I deal with this random ass situation? It's actually a pretty good idea to like get some intuition maybe, you know? It's kind of cool. Egbert, your master of Chi is trapped within 6 invisible walls. Ugh. What the fuck? Windfine, Vishab has dragged you underwater. You can't cast spells now. Oh. Life Helm. According to the rules, you can cast spells while attacking. Ah, told you, I'm the strongest. In that case, you are now facing a behemoth that deflects those very spells. Take your time. Oh. Huh. After a few rounds of wailing, the 3 knights' characters were tragically wiped out. A single person can only be so strong. The dangers out there never end. Luckily, we're only playing tabletop games right now, and not standing before the abyss. Varka flickered over the last chess piece, representing a character without hesitation. Next time, remember to scope out the enemy and assign roles before charging into battle. Even Lohan knows that tabletop troop isn't a solo game. Yeah, even if Lohan can figure that out, that's a pretty big deal. Bro, why are we talking about D&D? With the I mean, clearly it's showing that Varka is like, you know, you gotta cooperate with your friends to like overcome challenges, right? That's like a very Varka thing to do. But it's so funny that we went from like these whatever stories to D&D. Bro. With the fleeting years of scant wisdom of a human life, no man is an island. What does that mean? What? Especially against the myriad foes of his world. Only when scattered embers are drawn together. Oh, Jesus Lord. Oh. Each kindling the space before it, shall their light mingle and thus rival the stars and moon. To you, the soul of a god is no gift. It is a lethal poison. The strength of mankind is brought by bitter toil. Are you certain you wish to do this? On the eve of the expeditionary force's departure, the dominator of wolves posed this very question to the visiting knight. I am certainly not the only one capable of slaying the god of the north wind. Oh, okay. Varka grinned as he always did, as if nothing more than a common errand lay ahead. But throughout history, the only ones who can truly answer the god of the north wind have been the Knights of Boreas, am I wrong? You've changed, it seems. The wolf of the north closed his eyes. For a moment, it was as if he could see that brash young knight once more, a young man who had challenged him time and time again in a relentless pursuit of the pinnacle of power. In the past, you never would have squandered your own power like this. I found something far more precious than mere power, something I could defend more dearly. The morning light filtered through the mist and tangled boughs of wovendom, scattering across the knight's armor. Whether a trick of the senses or something more, the wild breeze carried echoes of the distant city, the playful shouts of children, the good-natured grumbling of elders, the rhythmic strike of hammers on anvil, the clink of glasses over fine wine. The banners snapped in the wind. The knight stood in rank and file. Besides, as for this power of mine, Varka ran his hand over his battle-scarred greatsword, then hoisted it onto his shoulder one more time. It is every person at my back. That's kinda cool. I like that. You know what? Let's just read it here. We don't switch the game. Okay, so we have this, then we have the vision, and okay. Okay, so we have Wolf's Homecoming Song. I'm not sure what the fuck that even means, but sure. Word is that the first knight to be known as Boreas would hum the same song in the tavern every time he returned from a monster hunt. The origins of that song, much like the knight's own name, was lost to the ages. Perhaps it was a lingering echo. Oh, sorry, I'm reading too much and not breathing enough, so I'm yawning. Perhaps it was a lingering echo he brought back from a distant land, or a melody he happened to catch drifting on the wind. Or it might have been a low ditty. What is that ditty? Composed by a destitute musician in place of payment after being rescued by the knight. In any case, the tune clearly won the knight's heart. He hummed it thousands of times without ever growing weary of it. And since he always hummed the melody upon his return, it eventually became a signal to all. Whenever the tavern patrons heard that song, they knew the knight had returned in triumph. And whenever the townspeople heard it, they knew the monsters beyond the walls had finally been slain. Later, the knight's companion remained forever in the land of wind, while the knight himself set out on a new journey. Since then, the melodies seemed to have faded from all memory. Years later, the blacksmith's son, Ravenwood, took up the heavy claymore under the name of Boreas once more. As the crowds cheered, they joined their voices in the knight's homecoming hymn once again. And so, the melody would forever endure in Mondstadt alongside the title of Boreas. Passed down through generations by the bards, it has since been woven into countless versions and a multitude of legends. Legend has it that the troops of Arundolin, the Lion of Light, once sang a rousing anthem of victory as they swept across the north, purging their calamities that plagued the land. Was Arundolin was a grandmaster at some point, right? He was a knight of Boreas, but I think... Yeah, okay, he was. I just had to double check. Okay. Legends tell of how Rostam, the wolf pup, such a dumb title, once listened to a tender nocturne beneath the starlight, drifting peacefully into the land of dreams. And so the lyrics of the song grew longer and longer with each passing year, as if it were a heroic epic that could never truly reach its end. It was Varka's first expedition since becoming the Grand Master. Keeping with tradition, the knights gathered on the training grounds singing ancient songs to pray for victory and a safe return. After concluding the rally with a brief speech, Varka pushed open the door to his office, only to find that someone had left a long, wide gift box upon his desk. Ah, the offhand sword you've been using is beyond repair, right? You might as well replace it with a new one, right now. With the way you swing a blade, even the finest sword is nothing more than a consumable. I hope this one lasts a bit longer in your hands. Also, happy birthday. You may have forgotten, but we certainly haven't. Oh. Turning the letter over, he found the signatures and postscript scrawled on the back. Seamus, Frederica Valentine, and all the Knights of Favonius. P.S. We argued about what to name this sword for the longest time. Unfortunately, we could not agree on anything, so we figured we'd just leave it up to its master to decide. On the training grounds, the knights' singing had yet to cease, even though several thick stone walls... through several thick stone walls, their voices remained clearly audible. Gripping the cold steel of the hilt, he pointed the blade toward the distant moonlight shimmering outside the window. A never-ending surge of poetry and song swelled in Varka's heart, echoing resoundingly. Triumph for justice and chivalry indomitable. Hell yeah. So that's his off sword, okay. That's cool, so it's a gift. I assume it's the same ones he still has. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, the vision story. Even without the favor of a vision, mankind is still capable of monumental feats. In Natlan, the human king led heroes toward the divine throne. In Fontaine, a genius once mapped the world's fate through numerology. Jesus, why am I yawning so much? Yeah, that'd be... Wait, who did the thing? The fate was done by... What the fuck was his name? Rene, right? Rene was the one that did fate, I think. And in Leo, the Grand Master of Spear and Blade swept across the lands... Who is that? Oh, Guhua, okay. Yeah, Guhua actually ascended. He's only one of 2 people that we know actually went to Celestia and ascended. Who the fuck knows what happens to you when that happens, but he is one of the 2 people we know of. The other one is Vanessa from the manga, from the Knights of Favonius. Across vast spans of time, through the endless tides of humanity, there will always emerge those variables who defy the common order of things. In Mondstadt too, there was once a knight who was never blessed with a vision. He reached the pinnacle of strength through sheer power and speed, wielding a claymore in one hand and a longsword in the other, performing a blade dance that verged on the divine. But a wild card of such raw talent was a mere stroke of luck. Since the Lion of Light's passing, Mondstadt was left without an heir to his genius. Even the one hailed as the perfect knight, the great hope of both the Wolfpup and the Lion of Light, was lost to a blood-stained crusade before he could ever master the dance. So that would be Roland, right? Yeah, okay. Among the knights of later generations, many have mastered both the claymore and the long sword, yet none have ever matched the original, wielding both blades as extensions of their own arms. Okay, Varka did it though. When this problem was laid before Varka, even he was stumped. He certainly didn't lack the raw physical strength to rival the Lion of Light. However, he soon discovered that dual wielding requires not just brute power, but also masterful technique. Without it, even his most forceful attempts left him... Oh, I cannot... Why am I yawning so much? Wait, what? Oh yeah, even his most forceful attempts left him strained and unsteady, each move offsetting the last. For him, it proved far less effective than the sheer single-minded speed of a solitary sword. Within the knight's record, studies of that blade dance contain no description of its technique. Evidently, Varka's predecessors were so focused on its ferocity that they underestimated its finesse. But that was of little consequence. While the complete form of the blade dance had already faded from human memory, there was one in Wolvendom who might have witnessed the Lion of Light at the height of his glory. Back then, the young and brash knight was the type to act on impulse. So, with a jug of wine in one hand and 2 blades strapped on his back, he marched off into the hills. So Boreas taught him how to... yeah, that checks out. Man, I'm really yawning a lot. I don't know why that's even happening. One day passed, then 2. The great Wolf King of the North howled and roared, and Varka was thrashed until he was howling right along with him. 3 days, then 4. The howling and roaring began to fade, replaced by the increasingly clear, sharp ring of steel, clashing against fang and claw. Even across thousands of years, as far as Lupus Boreas could recall, challengers like this were few and far between. Though the trial was long won, he continued to charge over and over again. He had won the favor of a god, yet he remained his own harshest critic. But another question gnawed at Lupus Boreas. After yet another clash that ended in a stalemate, he turned his gaze to the knight who was tossing back a jug of hard liquor. How much alcohol did he break? What the fuck? Why am I yawning? What the fuck? Human, your strength is absolute. Your conviction a raging fire. In this age, the title of Boreas is rightfully yours. Lupus Boreas fell silent for a moment. Then why has the gaze of the heavens not yet fallen upon you? The gaze of the heavens? Oh, are you talking about my vision? It's right here. Uh-oh. With a nonchalant shrug, Varka unveiled a brilliant glowing jewel he had tucked behind his waist. I think it just appeared in my cup while I was drinking one day. Or maybe I found it alongside the spells I gained after an adventure? So he doesn't know? What the fuck? The eye of heaven has been upon you all this time. Then why do you not draw upon its power? Well, if Arundolin could create his blade dance without a vision, then it's only right that I recreate it under the same conditions. Getting to his feet unhurriedly, Varka shook out his arms and settled his grip on his swords once again. As for what happens next, hold your breath yet, O great Wolf King. His swords crossed for the first time in forever. The vision at his waist flared with a brilliant blinding light. Now I'm going to surpass him. To learn, to inherit, and then to transcend. This is what humanity has always done best. So Varka on purpose didn't use his vision to learn the technique, and then later he was like, okay, I'm good. And now he uses it. It's even stronger than Arundolin's, because now he not only can do what he could, but also has a vision on top of that. That's kind of sick. That's such a Varka thing to do too, man. Okay. I don't think we will be able to do Lohin today. So what we will do instead, so we're gonna do Varka's weapon. Can I click when he came out here somewhere? No? Okay, let's go to the main page. Yeah, we'll just do his weapon, I think. It will be the last thing we'll do. Description. How big is this? Oh, Jesus. Damn. Okay. Let's see. What is this sword called, actually? Jest of the Mighty Wolf. Okay. Tales praising knights' martial feats have been passed down since ancient times in the land of poetry and wine. Amongst these resplendent verses, stories of the wolf are always the most beloved. After all, compared to the stately lion, the free-roaming wolf better suits a poet's heart. Such tales often begin like this. A wandering knight arrives from the northern lands, traveling with a companion named Endrius, and together they visit a city freshly freed. The untamed wolf hunts alongside the knight. They slay the beasts that plague the countryside, and drive back the great serpent that threatens the coast. What? What do they mean by why would there be a serpent on the coast? What the fuck? What is happening with the Sea of Mondstadt? The fuck? What fucking serpent? The only serpent I know is the fucking Orobashi. But he wasn't like evil. I don't know what he would even do with Mondstadt to begin with. Raiden killed him at some point, so like he's kind of fucking dead. It's been hundreds of years. I mean, this was also hundreds of years ago, but like what serpent at the coast? What the fuck? Okay. What the okay. In time, the homesick lone wolf leaves its spirit behind in the emerald wilds, and the knight too departs quietly, tracing the steps of his companion. Why can't I stop yawning? I genuinely cannot tell. In the end, none ever learned the ranger knight's name, and yet his deeds were never lost to history. Romantic poets, ever eager to read meaning into legend, would have it that the nameless knight always strode onto the battlefield after drinking deep in the snowland's searing spirits. Yet few know that the knight had come to bear witness to the wolf's fate, and that his homeland was never that merciless land of driving snow. Before he ever became the heart of a tale, the knight lived as he pleased, utterly devoid of a hero's airs. Aside from the Grand Master, who never gave up trying to recruit him, the tavern's guests saw him as nothing more than an ordinary drinker. The sole exception was a boy named Ravenwood, the son of the city's blacksmith. During the short years the nameless knight remained in Mondstadt, the boy almost made himself his sidekick. They met when the knight first arrived in the city and commissioned the boy's father to forge him a sword. As payment, he offered a handful of coins, each stamped with a mark no one recognized. The blacksmith who had once forged blades exclusively for the nobles chose to simply gift the knight that heavy slab of iron. In the new Mondstadt, everyone should take up arms to defend our freedom. What is this? Oh, Wolf's gravestone. Oh shit. That's hype. How? I sometimes wonder, because this is like from hundreds of years ago, right? How is the Wolf's gravestone still around? Like that shit should be rusted as fuck. Right? Like what what are we doing here, man? I guess magic or whatever. From then on, the boy followed the nameless knight wherever he went, most often standing in silence as he watched the knight practice his sword. Sorry. At times, when exhaustion set in, the knight would fall to rambling as the sun set, telling stories of a foreign land long forgotten. It was a place where flowers never withered, where rivers ran with mead, and along their banks once stood a warrior kingdom that had since vanished from the world. There, warriors who aforetime sang of devotion and honor bent the knee before power and gold, willingly offering their blades to a greedy tyrant. Thus the law was abolished, and high virtue crumbled into ruin, until those who had enslaved others were made slaves themselves. The night wind stirred the nameless knight's tattered cloak, and his finely wrought armor with intricate patterns gleamed under the moonlight. Wandering and freedom were to be the final fate of the knight without a homeland. For beneath the moon there was nothing left for him to defend. What? Many years later, the tale of Endris became a legend, and the chain-breaking hero was nowhere to be found. It is said that freedom is born of great sacrifice, and the comfort that follows often leads back to servitude. The knight's code still echoes in memory, but former comrades had already broken their oaths, seeking refuge once again in the embrace of the old aristocracy. In such uncertain times, the blacksmith's son picked up a newly forged longsword and set out into the wilds. Once lost, neither freedom nor the courage to die for it can be reclaimed. Cherish your virtue while it still endures. Days later, a knight draped in tattered cloak appeared before the gates of the fortress. Wielding his heavy, fearsome sword, he danced with his foes as if guided by the hand of a god. An old man recognized his techniques as those once used by the knight who called himself Endris. "It's Endris! Endris has returned!" Amid the crowd's roaring cheers, Ravenwood closed his eyes. "Charge for freedom and chivalry indomitable." This was set at somewhere else, right? Wasn't this in Varka's thing too, this exact quote? It might be. Huh. That's cool. That's it. Okay. So we got Varka's weapon done. I don't have much time, so I don't think I'm gonna start Itlua, nor will I start the books, because those were pretty lengthy. So we'll probably call it here. I really thought I will be able to catch up. I underestimated how much shit is there. So we will continue this some other day. I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, that's gonna be it for today. A shorter, low stream. But I think pretty cool to read some stuff. I know a lot of people don't read any of this on their own, so I'm here for you. But either way, I'm gonna call it here, and I will see you tomorrow with something. Either more reading or something else. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I'll see you then.